How is everybody doing? It is your main man ManiZach, and in this video I'm going to be tackling the question of what if there were no gender divisions in the Cobra Kai Season 4 All Valley Tournament. So get comfortable, smash the like button and prepare to be amazed. First off, I believe that the preliminary matches will be kept to male versus male and female versus female. This is because I'm assuming that at the meeting of the All Valley Committee that they wanted there to be separate gender divisions, but it didn't reach a majority of votes, so a compromise was made to keep them separate until it was actually necessary to put them together. When it got to the quarterfinal matches though, it would just be luck of the draw, and male versus female matches could be able to occur. Since this is the quarterfinals, that means there will be 8 fighters in total, 4 male and 4 female fighters. And I personally believe that because there'd only be 4 fighters, that they would be the semi-finalists of the original tournament. This means that the matchups will be Sam, Tori, Krupa and Powers for the female fighters, and the male fighters will be comprised of Robbie, Miguel, Eli and Dimitri. Since the drawing for matchups in the original tournament is pseudo-random, just trying to keep fighters from different dojos separate until it's absolutely necessary, I believe that the best way to do this and calculate matchups would be to create a randomizer, and I'll just respin the wheel or the randomizer whenever 2 fighters from the same dojo are put together. From the randomizer, the first quarterfinal match was Dimitri versus Powers, and we only see a glimpse of Powers in the semi-final of Cobra Kai, where Tori absolutely obliterates her. Since she didn't score a single point against Tori, and I personally believe that Dimitri could have at least scored 1 point against Tori, I believe that Dimitri would win this match. The second quarterfinal matchup from the randomizer was Eli versus Miguel, and although Eli won by default against Miguel in the original tournament and managed to go on to defeat Robbie, I personally believe that since Miguel beat Hawk in the Season 2 fight in Coyote Creek, and also because I believe that Miguel prior to injury was actually the best or most skilled fighter in the tournament, if he never got injured and landed the flying tornado kick, I personally believe that he would eventually beat Hawk or Eli and manage to advance to the semi-final. The third semi-final match from the randomizer is Sam versus Krupa, and since Sam already beat Krupa in the semi-finals of the original tournament to get to the final, Sam gets the win. And that just leaves Tori and Robbie, and although this draws 2 Cobra Kai fighters, all of the other fights were already drawn before this matchup, and since Kenny and Robbie already fought in the quarterfinals and they could have actually avoided them fighting and given them different draws, I'm going to allow this fight. I personally believe that Robbie would win, since when he was teaching at Cobra Kai, he was actually able to overpower not just Tori but all of the other Cobra Kai students. And although she managed to land 1 kick on Robbie, this was by deceiving him because he already thought that the fight was over and was going to help her up from the floor. This also assumes that they both actually take part in this match and that they don't decide to forfeit because of the romantic interest that just sparked between them after prom night. If Kreese and Silver managed to convince both of them to fight for the favour of Cobra Kai, and because Cobra Kai's only chance of winning the tournament is if they both fight each other, then I believe they'd fight, stay focused, and Robbie would actually win, as long as he has tunnel vision like he did in his fight against Miguel and doesn't decide that he's going to give up because he loves Tori too much. That means that the semi-finalists in this alternate tournament would be Sam, Dimitri, Robbie and Miguel. The randomizer put Dimitri against Robbie, and since in the original Cobra Kai tournament of Season 4, Dimitri was beaten by Robbie, this is exactly how the semi-final will go. Dimitri would end up being beaten by Robbie. That leaves a matchup between Sam versus Miguel, and because they're both romantically in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, I personally believe that what would happen is instead of them trying to fight each other, that they would both refuse to fight. And in this case, because Daniel and Johnny need that one of them to win in order to prevent Cobra Kai from winning the tournament, and we kind of want there to be a final, not just one big forfeit, they would both refuse to fight. Eventually they would come to a conclusion or an agreement that Miguel should fight. This is because things would be awkward between Sam and Robbie because they did used to go out with each other, and also it'd be a chance for Miguel to get his revenge on Robbie for kicking him off the balcony, making him paralysed and in a wheelchair. It's worth noting that I'm going to assume that Miguel does not get injured during any of this tournament. This means that the final would be Robbie versus Miguel, the sequel. And I personally believe that since in Season 5, Miguel technically beat Robbie in the fight when they fought each other at Johnny's apartment to end their rivalry or their tension, Miguel technically won that fight because he could have kicked Robbie off the balcony but then decided to show mercy, and Robbie was completely exposed. Also, it just seems that Robbie has a reputation to lose in the finals, so I believe that Miguel would win and go on to join Johnny and Daniel in the Hall of Fame as 2-time All Valley champion. This means that Cobra Kai would actually lose the Grand Champion tournament and that Eagle Fang would win, and that means that Kreese and Silver would end up having to shut down Cobra Kai and Kreese would end up leaving town. Well, that's my predictions for the Cobra Kai tournament if there were no gender divisions. However, there's so many different possibilities for how this could have gone, especially since the draws were all randomized. If there were different draws, then this could have gone drastically different. And because there are many possibilities, I'm very open to hearing what you personally think could have happened if there were different draws, or you just believe and disagree with me that some of the matches wouldn't have gone how they did. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember to stay amazing. Bye.
She thinks I'm ugly, she thinks I look like Dudley. Never thought this could be funny, changed her tune since I got money. She thinks I'm ugly, she thinks I look like Dudley.